Hey, how's it going?
Uh, Decent.
Nice, nice. Let me get my headphones on real quick. Ah. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, jeez. Ah. Alrighty. Let me know when you can see my screen, by the way, on the
Oh, okay, wait.
Discord. On
Uh,
the Discord.
okay, give me a second. Okay, now I can.
So many twos in your win loss. Interesting,
Uh,
interesting. Twos and ones. And platinum 2. With
yeah.
28 LP. Interesting, interesting. So, what actually do you have anything to say before we start recording? Or
Okay,
should we just record it all?
so my initial goal this season was to get diamond, and I was
Yeah.
there like some weeks ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
And then I dropped
Oh, that's
because,
awkward.
yeah, and I mean in diamond, like I was able to win some games, but clearly not enough. And then I
Right, right, right.
basically messed around and played shit like Jinx and stuff, and yeah.
Oh no. I mean, I know how you feel. I mean, I do that shit. I think everyone goes through that phase, but
Yeah,
yeah,
it
yeah, that's kind
wasn't
of awkward.
it wasn't ideal, and then I just dropped.
Interesting, interesting,
And my
interesting.
MMR is pretty fucked, so I gain like 16 LP and lose over 20.
Not like this. Not like this. So I guess the idea is, how do we become, not just diamond level, but beyond that, because we've already been there,
Yeah,
right?
sure. Like
So
I
so
kept playing because I wanted to improve. D5's not enough.
right. D5 is like once you get the diamond, you're like, yes, now I'm at the starting line, right? And that's what everyone
Yeah,
talks
yeah.
shit about diamond 5. So I mean, the next goal is like diamond 3, right? I would say that's like the next jump. So, which of these games do you think is best to take a look at first?
Uh, I don't know. So the 1v1 I played decently, but I'm pretty sure there are a lot of mistakes still. The other one I already felt when I played it, like the last one, that it's pretty bad. Like I wasn't focused at all and knew I made a lot of mistakes and shit. So
Would you
I don't know what.
say would you say this is like how you usually play these two games?
Uh, I mean, I've been lazy the last couple of days. I haven't played that much, but yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
The
Okay.
first one I was pretty focused, so that wasn't that bad.
I guess let's take a look at the last first then.
Okay.
Because it seemed like the first one went pretty well. So how does lane usually go for you?
Uh, I would say my lane is pretty much my weak spot.
Ah, okay, okay. So, in terms of laning, what do you think? Have you seen my coaching sessions before? I guess I should ask.
A few, but not too much. Like, I've no, not a lot.
Okay, so,
Only the ones on stream live. I haven't watched the
I see,
YouTube
I see.
replays.
Okay, okay. So then the first thing I'm always gonna say is when there are laning issues, right? The biggest okay, there are two big prompts that are gonna be happening. One is
Hmm.
that the most common one is you're not playing the matchup outright correctly, right? Like a lot of
Yeah.
players will try and trade when they're not supposed to trade,
Oh
or they're
yeah,
trying
that's
all that
me.
all that all that stuff, right? I mean that happens to me too. And the second one is you get ganked, right?
Yeah.
So I guarantee you one of those two things is going to be happening in this game if we die in lane, right? I think against stuff like Leona, we're more likely to see you get
Yeah,
engaged on,
I think that's what happened. I'm not
right?
sure.
So when you see this lane, what do you think to yourself? What are you thinking in the champion select or in the loading screen?
So it's pretty obvious that I have to play far back because of Leona, and I don't want to give them the level 2 advantage. But I think I give it to them anyway.
Right. So let's uh talk about this. Okay, so we gave a leash, right? Let's talk about the pre-6 stuff. Okay, levels 1 to 5. In
Yeah.
terms of okay, the first question is, what's your first priority in lane? What's your number
CS.
one
CS.
priority? Okay, so if you're aiming CS, but their jungler could be here, would you go for the CS?
I don't know. I don't think I would take the risk. If I if I would think that he's there, I would give up the CS.
Okay, so what's our first priority then? Would you say? If CS
Staying
is one of our
alive?
first... Yeah. Staying alive. That's always gonna be the first priority in solo queue, right? Solo queue, you gotta live no matter what. You can be down 30, 40 CS and you can still win. I promise. Okay.
Yeah.
And then the second priority is what? Let's say the jungler is not there or you can't die.
CS?
Yeah. CS is the second priority, right? So CS is very important. And then what's the third priority? I would say.
Trying to not fall behind, I guess.
Right. So this is the third priority is matchup based, right? So
okay.
You avoid like 3.5 is like no 3 is like you avoid what they want to do, right? So if they want to all in because they have all in support or something like that, you don't want that. Right. And then the third and a half priority, 3.5 is if you want to poke / trade / sustain all in, you do your thing. Right. But do not fall for their thing first. Because if you can't get, if you don't play around their strengths, you won't be able to utilize your strengths, if that makes any sense. Right. So in that sense, what does your lane want to do and what does their lane want to do?
I think we just want to poke and stay back in CS and they want to all in us because Tristana, Leona.
Okay,
that's
I agree.
Pretty much the best engage.
All in is very good to know. Now besides poke, what else can you guys do? Okay, so if I gave you 4 categories, okay, of kind of laning ideas, right? So one is all in, right? Mm-hmm. The second one we talked about is poke. And then the other 2 I'm going to say is trade, right? And catch.
Oh, yeah.
So trade has something to do with like shields or heals. And then, or really strong AD carry trading like Jhin 4th shot, Jhin, Varus E, anything like that. And catch is anything that has skill shot CC, right? So like Thresh, Blitz, Zillion, whatever, anything like that. Can you guys do anything else besides poke?
At level 6 we can, and I think.
Well, pre-6.
I mean, we could trade, but it's at level 1 at least.
Right, you can trade.
But as soon as they hit 2, it gets harder, I guess.
Right, because they're gonna try and turn your trade into an all-in, for example.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. We're getting away from the engage. That's fine. So yeah, you should know that your laning options are Lulu's gonna try and poke, or we can try and trade with Lulu's shield. But no matter what, we don't get engaged on, if that makes any sense, right? Yeah. Unless we have a jungler or we're on our tower or something like that. So yeah, as long as we're farming, we're happy though. We should be happy just getting the CS. So far so good, right? We don't have to utilize our lane strengths. That's just to get even more, if that makes any sense. Get out of laning phase with a lead. But we don't have to do that, right? We just got to make sure that we're getting our CS. That's already really good, right? So let's fast forward. Oh, okay, what's going on here? And then we're trying to hit him. And then this might be okay. Okay, I think that's not the worst, but it's definitely not good, right?
Yeah.
Because your HP matters more than Leona's, right? So how do we prevent that? I would say.
I mean, I was trying to hit Tristana, so I should have not done that. Right.
So when do you try and hit the other AD carry?
If there's no way for Leona to engage on me.
Okay. Let's say you're safe in your minion wave. That would be kind of safe, right? But if you hit her and you're gonna get engaged on, it doesn't make sense, right? If anything, you can hit Leona and Tristana can't help or something like that, right? But the problem here is that when you are trying to do your trade poke strategy, right? You're in range of their engage. So let's say this is Alistar level 3, we're gonna die. Leona level 3 is gonna be even worse, right? Anything like that. So you want to be kind of wary of that, if that makes any sense, right? Look, you didn't even play this bad at all. You just walk away, you auto tag, you volley. You guys definitely still losing though, right?
Yeah.
So the reason being is that if you want to kind of trade, you have to make sure you can't be engaged on, right? That's your remember the priorities, right? The third priority is don't fall for their engage, right? Now you're gonna have a different reason for trading here. Now, what would the reason be? You could say that this is good. Why would I say that? If we say that this is good.
In this because like the only thing I can think of is that minions are gonna aggro Leona.
Think of a more macro aspect.
Oh, okay,
a more broader sense. Why would taking a questionable trade like this be sometimes good?
I don't fucking know.
So, let's say you have an Elise right here.
Yeah.
Is it more clear why something like this could be good, right?
Oh, okay. They would show.
Right. We could trade so that our jungler could look bot, right? Because if they push up and then they get ganked, they're gonna lose, right? Because they have no HP, you traded it away. But here's the counter argument, right? Is that if you do this, your Elise ganks, and then they're like Sejuani ganks, well, it's not good, right? Counter gank. So usually we don't want to do something like this, right? Unless we have some kind of specific instances, right? But if they're pushing in and your jungler's nearby, trading is good. Right? So something like this could be good, right? But I don't think we kind of were looking for that. And so that's kind of why we say these are mistakes, because it's not something that we want, right? It's not something that we want, right? So anything like that, this is poke, this is great. Walking up is not going to be good. Oh, okay, nice bait, nice bait. But yeah,
I'm not sure if that was intentional.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think that was intentional, but it's like
I think
just
I
remember
realized
that
how stupid it is, so I just backed off.
Right. Just remember that you should be happy getting CS. You would be very happy getting CS, right? Because Lulu is gonna outscale Leona. Right. So there's no problem. There's no problem there. You got Lulu.
Yeah,
boss,
I think I always stress myself too much in thinking I have to win lane and not just
right. You do not have to win lane. I promise you. Right? How many times do you ever go on do you have a Smurf account, or do you ever play on a lower ranked account?
Yeah,
it's like,
I do.
You can't always win lane. You know.
Yeah.
It doesn't work that way.
That's true.
This guy's gonna lose his flash at least. Okay. Kha'Zix is gonna die if he's not careful. Definitely should not chase. Oh, actually, electrocute OP. Oh my god, it's not worth, right? You guys are all dead. Maybe not all dead. Actually, I think Kha'Zix is dead too. So that was what we were talking about, the counter gank, right? Let's watch from the beginning. So kind of what's going on here is not your fault, but I guess we'll say this is unlucky, right? Usually
I didn't want to go for it, but since he already wasted everything on her, I thought I would just go for it, and
you got her, right? So this is you don't worry about this. This is not your fault, right? The only thing you can say is, oh, we should not flash for Leona because the enemy jungler is coming, right? Yeah. But at Platinum 2, that's not something you need to worry about at all. Okay, it's literally not something you need to worry about at all. Let's fast forward here. Wait. Actually, let's go back to where we came alive. Okay, we need to push this out, right? Is there anything that we could be doing to make sure this push is safe, right?
I could use my E.
Right, so you pause right here. Where are they? Or where could they be?
I mean, the enemy lane is probably just walking to lane, but I have no idea where the enemy jungler is, so I should.
So how long are they walking to lane? Like, does Leona have to walk to lane?
You mean timing-wise?
Right. Like, so let's say, okay, people died, and then you spawned, and then they push us in, they base, right? Oh, did the replay get cut or something? And then you come back alive, you run straight, right? And then they're on their way back, right? Right now they're on their way back, right?
Yeah.
So you say they're at their tower or something, and then 10 seconds go by. Where are they? Let's say you don't know where they are. They're all missing. Where are they?
I mean, they could be at Drake or just waiting to catch us.
Right here, right?
Yeah.
In this bush, right? So the way to prevent that is when you first come into lane, the first thing you do is ward this, right? Because Gragas is sitting here, or Leona is running here immediately, right? Or you could use your Hawkshot, right? Since you're playing Ashe. Another thing you do is use your abilities to check it. But remember our first priority, right? It's to not die in lane, no matter what. Unless, you're getting ganked and you trade a kill or something like that. Or your jungler does something crazy, you have to follow up, right? Those are like sometimes exceptions, but you don't want to die for free. That's kind of what we're really going for. Is you can die sometimes, but it shouldn't be for free, right? So if Gragas is here, we're dead. We don't flash.
Yeah.
Right? Does that make sense?
That's true.
We go for an auto attack. Leona presses E. We're donezo, right? It doesn't matter that there are all these minions. They're gonna kill you fast enough. So, oh, here too, right? All these times where Leona can E you is how you die to Gragas, right? So that's something you should be afraid of, right? So how do we, lane is pushing. How do we not die to a gank like this?
I mean, I basically want to freeze it under my turret and not push out too far.
Right, you either want to push it in all the way or you want to not push.
Yeah.
Right. So here, where do you stand and what do you do? I guess. Like say Gragas is right here. So where do you stand and what do you do?
I mean, it's safer to stand on the other side of the lane.
All right, you want to be over here.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can still hit minions from here, right? And it takes Gragas forever to walk over. So, kind of not being afraid of the enemy jungler is kind of what we're looking at right now. Because this is definitely, dude, I'm like getting anxious for you, dude. Like you're gonna die to the jungler any second now. Like at the very least, you can hawkshot his Gromp to see where he is, right? So he's not top side of the map. He's coming down here, right? It could be even behind you, right? How many times have you seen jungler gank behind you? The one with like Rek'Sai is a common one where they go over the wall, or Gragas can just go all the way around like your wards and then come out from behind. It's super cancer, but it's gonna happen, I promise you. So what you do here is, this is kind of Tristana specific, but if you stand here and only last hit, it's gonna come back.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Tristana is gonna explosive shot, right? It's gonna come back to you, right? And the other option is, let's say you're playing against Kai'Sa or literally anyone else, right? They're not gonna push because they know that you guys are gonna die to a gank. What do? You create a giant wave so that they have to fight in a giant wave. So how do you do that?
Slow push.
Yes, slow push, right? And how do you slow push?
Basically, just take away a few minions and then let the rest collapse on.
Okay, let's say we're here.
I don't know how to explain it in English. Sorry, my English is pretty terrible.
So you basically have the gist of it, but to make it in more general terms, if your wave is already pushing, you just last hit, right? So any extra hits, we say this is a mistake. Oh. Because it's gonna end up down here, right? You fast forward 15 seconds, it ends up down here. That's what's gonna happen. That's why we only last hit, because if you only last hit, it'll still be up here when you have a huge wave. But that's kind of what you do, is don't touch anything unless you're getting the last hit, right? That's how you do it. And then if they clear your minions, perfect, because you didn't want to push anyways, right? So that's kind of how you avoid the re-gank without flash, right? Oh my god, they have a Karthus too, and a Gangplank. So you got all the globals coming down here. You can't really fight down here, ever. Okay, we're gonna die here if you're not careful. Oh my lord. So what's going on here? That's a mistake, I would say. Or what's dangerous here?
They could easily all in us there. And,
right, so...
I mean, I also don't know where Gragas is, so he even could be behind us.
Right, so if they trade, remember our example of, if they're pushing up, you trade, your jungler can gank. Right, is the basic idea. If, let's say, their jungler is here, they trade, they're diving you. Right, does that make sense? So, if your jungler is topside, don't trade. Basically, unless you're trading lane, right? It was kind of our issue. Lulu can trade, but she's primarily just hit them and win, right? Something like Nami would be trade, or Soraka or anything like that. But even if they didn't have Gragas, if she E's you, you're gonna lose all your HP, and they're not gonna lose anything. So you will definitely want to be very scared of that. Like don't worry about anything else except last hitting, okay? And if you can't last hit because he's about to engage on you, then let it happen, right? You basically, if you die in lane, it's donezo, right? So that's your first priority. But it looks like we're not being punished. But I promise you, if your goal is Diamond 3, you're gonna be punished every time, okay? They're actually gonna kill your ass like every time. So anything like this, you don't have to worry. Oh my god, Gragas is here. You don't have to worry about getting the extra poke in if we're dying to engage in the first place. Remember the priorities, right? 1 is not die, 2 is CS, and the 3rd is doing poke and all that stuff, right?
Yeah, I think I prioritized that too much because like I got to D5 playing really defensive, and I thought I would have to do more to get higher.
No,
And
no,
I
no.
think,
Yeah, you don't have to at all.
that's wrong, I guess.
Exactly. Not in solo queue. Let me tell you. Okay, what happened here? So, they went missing, and then we pushed. Why do we push?
Right now,
Yeah. Why are we pushing here?
because they just backed.
So, what happens if Tristana freezes that wave?
I pretty much can't, yes.
Right. So, okay. So, let's talk about this. When you want to, okay. So, most players know that you want to push before you base.
Yeah.
Right. Why is that?
So you don't lose CS to the turret.
Okay, this is true.
Basically that simple.
And then the other part is you want it to get into their tower.
Yeah.
Right. You want to push it into their tower. Why do you want to push it into their tower?
So, like in general, or when you want to back?
In general, or when you want to back. Let's take this example. When you want to back.
So they basically can't come up and interrupt our backports, because they basically have to be careful to get the CS, and even then they will probably miss at least like 2.
So we push it into the tower when we want to base, so that they're losing minions.
Yeah.
Right. And the reason why the important part is that it has to get into the tower is because what happens if it doesn't get into their tower? Like here in this case.
The enemies can either freeze or we are losing our turret.
Right. They're just gonna freeze. That's like the biggest reason, right? And then what do you do if they freeze?
I mean, there's not a lot I can do. I can basically just try to push hard.
Right. And then if you do that, then you get engaged on. Right.
Yeah.
Because their jungler could be here. Let's pretend Gragas ran straight bot. Right. Jungler's gonna be here, so you can't break this freeze. You take a 3v3. I think you guys are losing in this 3v3, right?
Yeah.
So
definitely.
the problem. So what do you do instead? I guess is the question.
And
how do you yeah, if it feels, if we say pushing is not the best option, what else can we do?
When the enemies freeze, I mean, I just have to stay in range to get the XP and just accept that I will lose some CS.
Right, but then you don't get the base, so then we got an issue there too.
Oh, you mean
like, what do we do instead of hard pushing the next wave?
Slow pushing?
Right, we can slow push it, or you can somehow find a wave to push this harder and accept your losses, but this is not going to be a good situation, right? So like, for example, we could walk up on the wave and volley all 6 minions or something like that, but you got to get this out of here, or we got a problem later. So honestly, there's probably not much you could do, not too much. You didn't have that many options, but just so you know that when we push, we would very much prefer to go into tower, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, there's a danger of some kind of freeze or losing minions or anything like that. So, oh man. So lost first tower, I think it's okay, right? The only kind of thing that you could have worked on was making sure you prioritize the minions over like trying to poke or anything like that.
Yeah.
Right? And then that's pretty much it. Your Kha'Zix's kind of like unfortunate. It was unfortunate. He just kind of went crazy there and didn't respect the counter gank or something like that. So we had to follow him. It's not really our fault, I would say. So what's going on here?
Oh, that's where I start to play really brain dead.
Oh no. We're gonna
that even works out, I guess.
Really? This works out.
No,
wow.
Not really.
Took tower shots. Oh my god. Okay. Let's back it up. So this is another kind of idea is if they're not on the map, they're coming to gank you.
Yeah. I mean, I could even see Leona on the river, so it was obvious that she moved bot side, but I just wasn't paying attention.
So you have a few options here. If you can't go out there, you last hit these.
Which ones? The
Like this wave,
these.
this wave.
Okay.
Right. You wait for the next wave and then you push it all. Right. That's one option. Okay. Second option is you say we need to push because we need to fight for this dragon. Then you push and you say you come up with a plan for when they come out. Okay. So what's your plan?
Wait, in this. So if I want to contest Baron, like
No. If you guys are saying we need to push this so we can go help dragon. Right. What's your plan if they come stop you during the push?
Back off.
Right.
But I mean,
but how exactly? Like you run straight. Leona's gonna ulti you. Like what just happened, right? So you need to come with like a kind of no matter what they do, we can get out, kind of idea.
Oh, okay.
Right. So what's the idea here? How do we make sure we're getting out?
Oh God, I don't know, to be honest, because like Dragon still died, so the jungler was there too, and if you just run down bot lane, we would have died anyway.
Right. So that's how we know that we can't do this because we have no way to stop it. Right?
Yeah.
We have no clear way to stop this. Right. Maybe we could say something like we're gonna flash and then we're gonna TP in. It's not gonna work. Right. Not in this case. Right. Losing flash for kind of nothing tells us is not good. So if you realize that, then here you don't push. Right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Remember, safety is number one. And if you can push, you would love to push past the midpoint. But if you can't push it because they're going to gank you, you can't push, right? Yeah. Another option you can say is we're going to go ward this spot over there so that we can push. And then we can run before she gets here, right? We're going to volley or something like that. But the problem here is that we kind of... I think we have an issue when they're like... Their engage is kind of just gets us every time, if that makes sense. Yeah. So the League is very much a game about being super paranoid, right? So if you were watching my stream earlier today when I was playing Jhin, I was standing at like the first mid tower when my team was at their inhibitor because Diana's missing on the map. I'm gonna die if I walk up, right?
Oh,
so
God.
The idea is the same.
That's like the part I hate. When you're behind and you just can't do anything.
You can't walk up.
And
I
just tend to do stupid shit and try to do it anyway, and that's basically what gets me every time.
We'll look at an example later if it becomes relevant, but that's exactly what happens. I'm like, dude, I feel like I'm so far behind that I need to catch up, and I got caught.
Yeah, that's basically what happened over and over again this game.
Right. So this is how you prevent it: is that you can't push this out fast enough for whatever reason. Right. You last hit it. Okay, or you push this out and rotate top. You base and rotate top, but your team is losing minions if you do that. So I would say you can consider last hitting this, right? Even better is putting a word down so you can see when they're coming, right? But basically, we just have no plan. We're just like hoping that they don't show up like every time. I think, right? It's like you have to pretend League is a horror game. You're the AD carry, right? Like if you ever played horror games, you know PvP. One dude's trying to kill everyone else, right? So the dude that's trying to kill everyone else, he's the jungler. He's the support, right? He's an assassin, and you're the dude trying to live. I'm not joking. Like that's basically how you're supposed to play League. It's like when you have a Rengar, right? It's the same thing. But when you're like the dude getting chased, you need to ask yourself how are they gonna kill me, right? Like this is not the first time you've seen this before, right? How many times have you seen Leona, right? This is like a million times, right? Or Gragas, right? The only exception is a new champion or a new rework. That's the only time you're like, oh shit, they can do that. But this is not new stuff, right? So this is kind of like leaving the game up to chance, right? Is this kind of issue here, right? Is that we didn't really have any idea what we were gonna do, right? So as long as you can come up with a plan, it doesn't matter though, right? So what would the plan be?
Yeah, I mean, I just have to stay safe and get as much vision in our jungle as possible, so I can at least see us.
But let's say we couldn't do any of that, then a plan would be something like we're gonna save volley and we're gonna shoot it immediately. And then we're going to use heal to dodge ulti, right? That would be a plan. Because you die if you get hit by ulti. And then if they go in anyways, you win. Because you have Lulu ulti, you're going to go on Tristana, you can flash the ulti here or whatever. You're going to win. Hopefully, as long as Gragas is not here. But, Gragas could be here too, then we're donezo. I got no way out. Then we got a flash. So, the thing is, it kind of seems like we don't really know what we're going to do if they come out. So, that's kind of something you might want to take a look at. And then, let's say what's going on here. See all these people... All this fight is over. Oh, you guys are chasing. Couldn't really catch anyone. Sure. We got the Leona. I think that's fine. They're still chasing. Jesus. You're losing mid, guys. Go catch mid. Okay, and then push this in base because maybe Tristana's still here. I think that's okay. Where do you want to go now? From here. From here. Where do you want to go?
I wasn't sure. Like, it would have been possible for us to swap with top lane, maybe.
Why is
but
that?
it didn't. I think it would have been safer for me to put CS there, unless the enemy wave is bot lane is at our second tier turret.
So you want to be on the same side as the objective, right?
Oh yeah.
So let's say
breaks down turrets up.
Yeah. So here's the example: is that let's say we go bot, and then they swap. So when they start the Rift Herald, what do you guys do? You try and stop it, you lose because it's 4v5, right? Let's say your Lulu goes top to prevent that. Then Gangplank TP's in, you guys still lose, right? So you want to swap to the side with the objective that's on, right? This is the cookie cutter strategy, right? It's not always going to be true. You can come up with a way to beat that, but for solo queue, we'll pretend it's always true, okay? Because you always want to be on the side of the objective.
In this scenario, I'm not sure if it is even true because I'm that behind. Like, even
no. We still want to swap.
Scenario?
Yeah, we still want to swap. Because what happens is that they're tanking Rift Herald, so you guys can mess with them, right? It's not that we're so far behind the game is over. No, we there's no item difference here.
Oh yeah.
Right? There's no real problem. There's only a real fighting issue when he has an extra item on you or something crazy like that, or mid lane's losing by an item, right? But there's no real. It's still fightable if that makes any sense, right?
Yeah,
if they make mistakes, you're gonna easily recover. They face check an arrow, they're gonna die still, right? Same thing. So that's the reason why we want to go top side, right? Okay, but unfortunate that mid dies, not your fault at all. Oh my god, Tristana jumps into her death. Sure, we're coming to help this, but I think this is over already. You can't fight this unless Aatrox TPs or something. Oh my god, we're going in. How do we know? How do we know we can't win this?
I mean, he has 2 levels on me. He's pretty much. Yeah, I mean, I have no sums up.
Okay, there's a better question to this. How do you know you're guaranteed to win?
Oh god, I mean, I basically always do it like I feel. So in this scenario, I was just like, okay, maybe there is a chance. Because
right, so
Leona went top lane, but it was pretty stupid.
Instinct players is not bad, right? But if you can't reproduce it or kind of get it consistently to work, then there's a problem, right? Yeah. So when you kind of take fights, first is you have to ask yourself, what are we trying to do? And then the second is, how do we make sure it works? Right. Yeah. Let's say, for example, you're Leona Tristana Gragas, and you're ganking the Ashe Lulu, okay? And you say, we want to gank them. How do we make sure this works? And then Leona will say something like, I'm going to flash and Q Ashe so she can't flash out. Or something like that. So you would try and guarantee to make it work, right? And that way Gragas can't miss ulti, right? Stuff like that. So in this case, how do we make sure this works? 2v2.
In this case?
Yeah.
I don't think there's a way.
Right.
Unless I could would have been able to arrow him in turret. Maybe.
Right, I'm not sure either, which is why we know we shouldn't try and do something like this. Or maybe you could say something like, we're gonna auto him and then we're gonna ulti Leona so she can't go on me or something like that. But it doesn't seem like, to me when I saw this, I was like, oh, I don't know how you do this, right? Which is how we knew that it probably wasn't gonna work, right? You need to come up with a way to win. You need to have a concrete reason to win. Like, what's some concrete reasons you can win a fight? What's like the #1 concrete reason?
Item advantages, summoner advantages.
Before all that. Those are minor advantages, we'll say.
Wait, really? Okay. Picks?
Okay, face check. That would be one of the top 3 reasons, right? Someone gets one shot. That counts, right?
Yeah.
What's like the #1 reason, though?
Someone gets Ashe arrowed out or some shit.
What's the #1 reason teams win fights in solo queue?
I actually haven't thought about that.
Let's say someone dies. Someone dies mid lane at 30 minutes in the game, okay? And then the other team goes to Baron. Why do they go to Baron?
Oh, because one member's down and there's no real way for the enemies to fight him.
Right. It's a 4v5, right? So that would be a
Oh, that's
concrete
what you
reason
mean.
as to
Yeah.
why it's like 4v5 you always win. Okay,
Yeah,
that's what
sure.
you should think in solo queue. So you need to have one of those reasons to fight. Okay, and then if you don't have one of those reasons, you need at least a minor reason, like you said, item advantage, summoner advantage, whatever. But or positional advantage counts too. But if you don't have any reason, then that's how you know you're gonna lose, or at least you're not gonna win. Right? That's how you know is that it doesn't make sense to fight. Right?
Yeah.
Like how do you know you can fight this gangplank if you see everyone on the map? Like their whole team showed. So how do you know you can fight gangplank? How do you know you can walk up and hit him?
I mean, it's a 1v2, so
Right, it's 1v2.
we can trade because of Lulu shields and shit.
Right, you can
I'm
let's say
raged,
hit him.
I can basically cancel his barrels if I time it right.
Right. And then how do we know this is a loss now? It's no longer 2v1, right? So you guys cannot win this. Yeah, you can't win this unless you like somehow say we're gonna arrow cart this or something like that. But I think we're seeing a kind of recurring pattern of either A, we don't know when to fight, and or B, if someone's missing on the map, we kind of pretend they don't exist. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like
in this scenario, I even was like, okay, Kathis will gank probably. I even shot an E to check, but I shot it in the wrong way.
Alright. Oh yeah, I see now. Yeah, we didn't go off the river. So,
yeah.
What should you do instead? See, that's always so instead of just looking at mistakes, we always ask ourselves, how do we improve on this? Right? So, what should you do instead?
I mean,
okay, so what were we trying to do here? Right here. What are you trying to do here?
So I just want to push and like pressure the map because top lane is pressuring also, and there are 3 members, and the only one who could come is Kathis. That was basically what I was thinking. So,
right. So what's the idea? So if I ask yourself, what are you trying to do right now? Right. So things you could do.
Destroy the turret.
Okay, you're trying to hit tower. Okay, good. So then the next step is how can they stop me? Or if they're gonna stop me, how do they do it? So you say cart this gank. And then the third thing is how do we counter that? Right. So the kind of
ward or back off.
Right, we need to run him down when he shows up immediately or something like that, right? But I feel like we're missing a few steps here, right? We're just like pushing and then he shows up and it's like, oh shit, right? So the idea is that you kind of want to have a response for everything they can do, right?
Yeah.
So 2 things you can do here. You can do something like we can push and leave if you don't think you can win the 2v2, right? Or if you think you can win the 2v2, you say, what do you do when Kaite shows up? We turn around and kill him, right? In which case you should make sure you don't take any extra damage from Gangplank. Right? Yeah. And then you immediately start running and you turn around and kill Karthus or something like that. But I just feel like we have no kind of plan of doing anything, right? Like here's an example of a plan. The instant he shows up, we're gonna auto attack, ulti, and then we're gonna flash the barrel. And then you kill Karthus, that's a win, right? You could say that's a win. But we just can't. We haven't come up with anything. It looks to me like we didn't really come up with anything. So
I mean, I didn't even have any slums, so I don't think.
Oh yeah, we don't even have flash, right?
Yeah.
So
I don't think there was a way.
You'd have to like kill the barrel and then press Q and kill Karthus or something. It's really hard, right? So
yeah, I don't think it would be worth risking it.
Right, and then in a different game, instead of Gangplank, this is gonna be a Camille, and then instead of Karthus, this is gonna be a Zed. And it's like, oh, we're still doing the same thing, right? So the way to fix this is this option only works because they have a Karthus and a Gangplank, but usually it's gonna be stronger than just Karthus Gangplank. So what you should do instead is you should push this and leave.
Yeah.
Right. So what's our goal in the mid game? We'll say this is mid game, right? Because towers are gone. What's our goal in the mid game?
To try and not fall behind even further, and still not die, obviously.
No, in every game, not just when you're behind, but also when you're ahead. Yeah. What's your goal?
So try to take objectives and gain a map advantage. Like
let's say you have 5 scaling teammates. How do you do objectives? You can't really do objectives, right?
Oh yeah. Like
in every game as an ADC, what is your first priority?
Yeah, to just get to late game and snowball.
Right. How do you get to late game?
CS.
Right, you need to farm, make money, right? That should be your only priority, or maybe not your only priority, but your number one priority. Anything else is not recommended, right? So the kind of mistakes we're making are we're trying to poke in lane, get engaged on, and then disaster happens. We're trying to push out lanes,
I always want to do too much, and in the end, it just backfires.
Right, yeah, exactly. All you care about is making money. So how do you make money in the mid game? Like here, what's the best way to do it?
Take the wave back off and just go to another lane or take jungle camps or whatever. And...
Right. You want to push it past the river, right? That's the important part. And once you push it past the river, you can do whatever you want after, because the minions are coming back. Like after, if you can get it to crash into their tower, or if you push it past this halfway mark, it's gonna come back to you.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So it's always gonna come back to you, I promise. And then once you do that, you can go ward river and then come back, or you can do camps, you can come back, or you can sit in a bush if you think you can kill someone and then push the wave again. But that's kind of what you need to be focused on, right? So what happened here? Aatrox fucking teleported to the lane we're going to.
I don't know.
Okay, this is kind of troll, but what lane? What lane do we need to be in? If he does this, where do you go to make money? Where do you go to make money?
Probably top lane, because
right.
Just left. Right,
you want to go top because there's a wave there. It is now pushed out past the river, right? And we know that they can't stop us because Leona, Tristana, Gragas are dead, right? The argument to stay is what? Why would you ever keep running down bot? If Gangplank is here in this situation.
I mean, we could try to catch him.
Okay, so do you have a way to catch him?
Not really. I have no ult up.
That's how we know we want to go top, right?
Yeah.
Is that we don't have a way to catch him, so we go top, right? Same thing with Camille, Fiora, whatever. It's all the same, right? Unless you guys have a specific way to catch him, you're not gonna get him, right? I don't know what's going on here. Wait, he died? What?
Did he? I think he got away.
He actually ends up dying. Okay, let's watch what happened here. Wait, he turned around. He tried to fight. Wait, no, what's going on? Oh my god, you shot his barrel. He stayed so long. Holy shit, he died.
Oh yeah, he actually died. Yeah. So
I guess if your Aatrox can bait him, then it's good to stay, because that's worth money, right? That's along our priority. An assist is worth money, right? So that's along our goals is scaling, right? We just want to scale into the late game, right? And then let's say we can't push.
Like if this guy would have been better, like I can't predict it, so.
Yeah, you go top.
It would have been better to go top lane, right?
Right, exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Unless someone spam pinging, we're like, we need to go or something like that. But that's what you want to do. Is go top. Okay, how do you know you kill this guy?
We don't.
Yeah, you can't kill this guy. So that's how we know we don't want to fight, right? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, right? I just. So what I was thinking was like that Drake is up soon, and I just want to get him as slow as possible, so we have a chance to contest it. So if he
goes to Krugs and like smites it and does all this stuff, he's back to full HP. It doesn't matter. It's not worth your ultimate. Like, what's worth your ultimate?
A kill or
yes, a kill. You're gonna hit Karthus. You're gonna hit Tristana, right? That's the you could say getting away, but you want to kill someone. You want to catch someone, right? So do we kill or catch anyone?
No.
Can't use ulti. Okay, 90% of the time. That's the only reason you're gonna use arrow. Is to assist or kill. And then you guys lose this because you have no arrow, right? You can't do anything in this fight because you have no arrow. So not only that, but the fight stats are really bad. So yeah, he just dies one shot. Wait, why didn't Lulu ulti? Oh, that's really awkward. But we end up dying because we're here still, right?
Yeah, that was pretty bad. I tried to so what I was trying to do there, again, way too risky. I wanted to, so I knew Gragas would come over, and I just wanted to throw him back over with a plant, and I misclicked.
But it's not reliable, right? I would say it's not reliable, because let's say for example he uses flash instead of just regular E. So it's like what's going on here is if a fight starts out extremely poorly, right? Remember, how many people are at this fight? Let's say.
I mean, on our team, it's currently 3. Like, I'm just still walking up, and it was 2.
Within one lane's distance, we'll say counts as a person. So how many people on your team are here?
Like 4.
Aatrox is close enough, right? We'll say.
Okay, Aatrox is close enough.
He counts as a person. Okay, so how many people do they have?
4.
Well, missing people count. Oh, they always count. Missing people always count.
Okay,
Remember,
that's
yeah, that's.
5v5.
I think that's a problem we need to fix. Is that
Yeah.
anyone who's missing counts. Yeah, so 5v5, right? So how come you guys insta lose?
Because Kha'Zix gets engaged on.
Yes, someone gets
So we-
one shot,
So
instant
we should
death.
actually just disengage.
You run.
point.
This is unwinnable, right? It's not every fight
Yeah.
is winnable. You run. There's nothing you can do, right? Not only that, but you also have no ulti. But if you did have ulti, it's not winnable. So when you see this, you leave. Unless somehow Kha'Zix survives and does a lot of damage or something, you can't win this, right? Or maybe if you have ulti here, you can go on Tristana. But you know that this is not winnable, so you want to run, right? That's the idea. Is that there's literally nothing you can do. So our only mistake here is trying to help, right? Because it starts out really poorly. The only reason why I was anywhere close is because why?
Was it close?
Well,
Like,
we almost
Gangplank
kind
went-
of got like you almost got
I
this
mean,
Tristana
Gangplank
or like
went mid lane. So
yeah. Gangplank didn't even show up for this fight, so that's why it was kind of close, but not really, right?
No,
Someone
it
got one
wasn't-
shot. He probably
wasn't
contributed.
close,
Yeah,
still.
it was just Dunzo, right? So oh my god, you got a pentakill, Jesus. So
Yeah.
the problems in this game, it looks like, was kind of we need to know what we want to do in the early mid game, right? Or maybe you knew what you wanted to do, but it's not kind of the priority I think you should have, right? Which is
Yeah, in this game, I had no real clue what to do.
right. You want to make money, and as long as you're happy making money, everything else is extra. Okay. You don't.
Okay.
If you can't find, like, say you're playing Ashe, you're like, oh, I should catch people. You shouldn't forego the money just to catch people, unless it's like
Yeah.
guaranteed or something like that. Or you're saying you're playing a poke lane, and you're like, oh, I need to poke him, but I might die to Blitzcrank hook. You don't poke. Right, unless you know you have a way to dodge it or something like that, or he can't hook for whatever reason, right? Or you have more people, right? Anything like that. But we kind of have our priorities not in order, if that makes any sense, right? Your
Yeah.
goal is to make money, so you need to. Okay, this can work. You need to make sure that. Oh yeah, it's not gonna work because it's just Leona, right? And we don't have everyone here, so
Yeah.
it looks dicey. So that's kind of what we're looking at is. We don't really have our priorities in order, and we're not really sure when we want fights. Because I feel like every time we started a fight was when we didn't have a good reason, right? So every time you want to fight, you want to have a good reason, right? So remember, what are some good reasons that we talked about today so far?
Good reasons to fight.
Yeah, good reasons to fight.
4v5.
Yes, for you have more people, you always win. That's what I want you to think. You are always gonna win if you have more people. What else?
Like insta one shot catch or
Yes, catch, right? Okay, those are your two biggest reasons.
And then minor stuff like summoners.
Yeah, that's never gonna matter in solo queue. Okay, I promise. Oh my god,
Oh.
you're gonna one shot someone. That counts as one shot, right?
Yeah.
And you also have more people since Aatrox is gonna be closer than Gangplank, right? Those are gonna be your only major reasons, right? And then the other stuff would be something like scaling or items, right? Something like that. But more people's win. Okay. The only reason why this goes somewhat poorly is because they're super far ahead, right? And Kha'Zix suicided, or yeah, he kind of killed himself, right? This is winning until Kha'Zix ran in, right? You guys, this is winning right here.
Yeah.
Because you guys one-shot them, and you can leave and you're good. But he just kind of suicides in, and then you try and help, right? How do we know we can help him?
I mean, he insta dies.
Right,
It's
we don't know.
pretty-
If we don't know, we don't fight. That's the problem
Yeah.
I think we're having, because we just walk up and then it's like, oh, we're just dead. He just jumps, we're dead, right? What? No, you're so dead. No way. He can flash over this one ulti you. Come on, there's no way. Oh, here we go. Okay, that's what I thought. Okay. Yeah, there is nowhere you're getting away. So this is the issue, is that we need to recognize when we want to fight. That's our second problem, I think, is that we kind of try and do something, but every time you try and help, in my eyes, it was a clearly losing situation, right? So yeah, that's kind of what we're looking at. You had a really good arrow, though, on the Curtis, but you got to remember that we only want good arrows. So anything else is like you know, on the Gragas or on the Leona mid, you need to have a very good reason, right? One shot or a 4v5, right, would be the biggest reasons, I would say. Okay, push this out, and then okay, here's the second tip for solo queue, or the biggest one that'll help you the most. When do you hit the tower?
So in this scenario, when I'm alone,
In general, when do you hit the tower?
only when I know it's safe.
When they cannot stop you. Okay, so
Yeah.
how can they stop you here?
They can just roam. Like, we have no vision. We have vision of, I guess, 2. So it's pretty obvious
Right.
that
So
someone will show up.
instead of doing this kind of thinking where you say, I want to hit the tower, and then how do they stop me? They show up, and then I die. We should think of tower like...
At this point, it's more like bad attitude. Like, in my mind, I thought, like, okay, this game's lost.
Oh, okay, yeah. We're just like tilted or something, right?
Yeah.
But in general, I mean, this happened before too. I think before we were tilted. But
Yeah.
in general, we only hit the tower when it's PvE. Okay, that's what I want you to think, is that at this rank, until you're at least Diamond 3, until you're like Diamond 1, okay? Even when you're Diamond 1, you don't have to hit the tower, I promise. You don't need to hit the tower to win games, okay? Every time a tower is taken, it's because someone dies first, right? In solo queue, before every time a tower is taken in the mid game, it's because someone got caught and the other team ran it down, okay? That's the only time you want to take the tower, is you want to hit tower when they're all dead. Or they have no HP because their Zera took out all their HP, right? There's literally no way to stop you. But if there's any way for them to stop you, you can't do it. Okay, that's what I want you to think. Because I think we died at that twice this game. And I think that is definitely a habit that most players have. Is that, like, look at this. Look at this. What is he doing? What is he doing? Well, actually, he's chasing. But he's aiming for this inhib, right? Or actually, I don't know what he's doing. He's trolling.
I don't fucking know what that was.
Yeah, basically, I mean, he's doing the same mistake, right? It's kind of the same idea. It doesn't really make sense, right? He just gives up a kill, right? But that's the idea, is that I think when you try and do something, you need to make sure that you come up with a way for them to stop you. And then if you can't figure out a counter, you can't do that thing. Okay, you want to push a wave? Leona's gonna flash ulti. You can't stop it. Okay, don't push the wave. Okay, that's kind of the mindset we need to develop. Because now this game's already over, I would say. Right, all the mistakes happened earlier in this game. There's nothing else you can do here. Right, we need to fix the early mid game stuff that's going on, I think.
Yeah,
right?
I'm pretty sure. Like early game, early mid game. Yeah,
it's kind of when we start dying is when we know things are going wrong. Because I think we died so much that we can't even tell you to farm mid game, because it was just like we were always dead. You know what I'm saying? Oh my god, is this Gragas gonna die? He's so gonna die. He already used his flash, right? Oh no, okay, never mind.
He's know what happened.
Wait, what's going on? Okay, they have no HP, whatever. We don't care about this stuff. Okay. Fast forward, it's laning, you have a Fiddlesticks. Interesting. What would Fiddle be in terms of our support, in terms of our laning classification?
Oh god, like pre-6 he's basically poke, and after 6 he can all in.
Okay, agreed. What else on that list also matches?
Maybe trade because of his fear.
I would say trade is something like you have sustain, so you trade and heal up, or you have a Janna shield, so you trade and you always win. I would say Fiddle has something like catch, where he has CC, right? But it's kind of weird because you know I usually define catch as skill shot based, but I would say his fear is more catch than it is all in, because all he can do is drain. All he can do is drain. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't really know, but yeah, I would say it's kind of like catch. But if you're playing with something like Fiddle, I'd just be like, oh, okay, let him go first. Right? He's gonna poke and do all that stuff. So there's too much priority on trying to poke them, I think. You just need to make sure you're not missing CS, and you'll be really happy, right? Okay, so here we're pushing. Okay, that's fine, I think. Gregor showed up, so we know that there's no kind of gank happening. What are we doing here? That might be a mistake.
Walking too far up and trading.
Okay, so like in terms of our what's it called? Laning classifications, categories. In terms of our laning categories, is trade in our category?
Not really.
Right, so that's how you know you lose this, right? Yeah. Before you even touch anyone, that's how we know, right? That's how I know, at least, is that you lost that trade because you're not supposed to trade, right? That's the idea, is that when you do something you're not supposed to do, unless you have some kind of advantage that tells you can do it, you can't do it. Right? Like, what's kind of a big advantage that tells you, oh, maybe trade can all in or something like that?
Yeah, like item advantages.
Yeah, even then, I would say not even. I would say not even then, right? It have to be a really big item advantage. It'd be something like they have no HP, right? Something like that.
Or like we are 6 and they're 5.
Right. You have
too.
ulti advantage. Yeah, exactly. But if you don't have anything like that, then you can't do that, right? So one of the reasons why we died at gank is because we traded.
Yeah.
No HP. And then we did it again, right? So that would be one reason, is matchup based. The second reason is we're not ready for him to come out at any time, right? So this is why I say our priority is not dying, and second is CS, is because so many people focus on trying to hit people and all this stuff, but then they just die to gank, and it nullifies anything we were trying to do, right? Our poke and stuff only matters as long as we can get away from a gank, right? Because if you poke them down to 50 HP, you get ganked and die. It's the same as you not poking, you die anyways, right? So that's why we have to get our priorities straight, is because that poke is not going to matter if something like this happens, right? Sure, we might be CS on them, right? We might have more CS on them, but are we winning in terms of money now when you die here?
No.
Right, I agree. It's not worth, right? So how do we, kind of make sure we don't die to a gank? There are a few things we can do, right? So
like the easiest is vision.
I would say it's not vision. You're not always gonna have a ward on him, right? So you always pretend he's ganking you. You have a ward here, doesn't matter. He's coming from behind, right? So yes, vision is gonna give you some kind of warning, but you always have to be ready for them to gank, right? So things that tell you you're gonna die to a gank. You have no HP, right? I guess that's kind of a no-brainer. Is that if you trade and you're at their tower and then jungle ganks you, you're gonna lose, right? Because you have no HP. The second is you have no flash. So you're full HP, you have no flash, you're still gonna die, right? So if you want to push, you need flash and you need full HP, and that counts even while you're trading, right? You start trading and you start losing HP, and then he comes out, you're still dying, right? So those are the kinds of indicators that tell you if you're gonna die to a gank. Now let's say if you don't have flash or full HP, what do you do?
Freeze on the turret.
Right, don't push.
Near turret.
Just last hit. You don't push. Right? You can't push or you're gonna die, right? That's the idea. So it's always harsh to say that this is called a throw, but this is what we call this, is we're throwing the lane, right? Because what happens when we die in lane to jungle?
They can basically push out and I will miss like a wave.
Okay, this is true. So your lane loses, right? Right, your lane loses, right? So bot lane loses on your team. And then jungle loses because their jungler got an assist or a kill, right? So then the next thing that's going to happen is what? He's going to gank another lane. Okay, 3 lanes lose because of one mistake. That's how it works, right? Let's say what happens if you get away from a gank. He ganks you and you just use flash and you're out. What happens then?
Then he basically wasted time.
Yes, you wasted time. So your lane is even. Your jungle is winning. Your jungle ganks another lane is winning. So you're winning 2 lanes. Okay, so this is the reason why people push, is so that they can generate an advantage for their team. But if they die, it's like all gone, if that makes any sense. It's like the reverse, if that makes any sense, right? So now we can expect other people to die. Look, Nocturne's I don't even know how Nocturne dies, but Jungle's losing, right? Jungle loses like we thought. He actually gets a kill. Holy shit. So this is actually not bad at all. But the instant you die, any impact you have on the game is gone. If that makes any sense. Like this is all chance. This is all random, right? Your team could have screwed that up. It's 3 kills to Tristana, right? So we need to make sure that we're never making mistakes, or rather, we're making as minimal mistakes as possible, right? That's kind of how you win solo queue. Is that you only do good stuff for your team, right? Let's say, for example, you're really passive. You get 230 farm at 22 minutes. We haven't really done anything. We did 0 damage to champions, and then you ulti a backline carry. And then you kill him, you do Baron. That's already good. That's really good. We'll say that's S. That's S tier, right? Or we'll say that's A+, right? That's what you want to see, right? But anything where we try and do stuff and then it's like instant punish, we call that throw, because it is, in a way, right? So here, same thing, right? We're just going to that a gank, right? It's just like That's just kind of something we need to take a look at.
It's very repetitive.
Right, we
do
just
the
keep
same
dying.
mistake over and over.
Exactly. So at least we know it's like something we can fix, right? All you have to do is focus on this one thing, right? So the easiest like band-aid patch is you go into game, you say, I only care about CS. Okay, I only care about CS, and I'm ready for when they gank me. That's all you need to think about. You don't need to think about trading. Just make sure you don't get all in. Sure, dodge skill shots, but you don't do anything proactive. That's the first step. And then once you can go 5 games without dying to a gank, then you bring it up a notch for lane, if that makes any sense. Then you say, now I can start working on trading, right? Okay, the first step is not dying, so you don't even care about CS. Then after 5 games of not dying to a gank, you say, okay, now we focus on CS. And then once you do 5 more games of both perfection, then you throw in, okay, now we want to try and look at, using our support to our advantage. Like, oh, he's poke, we go for poke, right? Or their trade, make sure we don't trade, right? Something like that. But the reason why these games are getting out of control is stuff like this, right? Where it's actually, you guys are super lucky. This you have a Malzahar who has TP, and then they don't have a TP, but it's kind of we're kind of losing control of the game from the get-go, if that makes any sense, right? So all these kind of return kills have been lucky, right? It's not orchestrated by us. You always want it to be you always want it to be under your plan, if that makes any sense, right? You guys are planning for a counter gank or something like that, right? So I think that's the first thing we should look at is making sure that we're not dying early mid game to random stuff, right? And in the early game, it's just ganks. Right, we're not really dying 2v2 or anything like that. We're just dying because the jungler comes out. So if they want to trade, don't trade. Right, if their team doesn't want to trade, you don't want to trade. Okay, you can ult this guy. This is pretty free. Or is it though?
It is. I'm pretty sure.
Oh.
Or is it?
Oh. Not sure. See, that's the thing, is that we're not sure. Right. Let's say Gragas is here. What happens?
We're dead again.
Right here. Gragas comes out, and then okay, maybe we can flash out. Right, then we say that's good, but you need to be prepared. The thing is that you just don't know.
Yeah.
Right. So this is actually good because if you flash out, then Greg is wasting his time. Right. And you have a chance at a kill here. But if you didn't know that and you do this play without flash, it's like we got the same problem. If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So it turns out you guys do win though, and Gregus was top, so everything's okay. Oh, this is awkward. Okay, at least we don't die. Wow, okay. How do we know we can hit this tower? According to our rules.
There's no way we can get stopped at this point. Like, Tristana has to back off.
Agreed. There's no way they can stop you.
Gragas is top lane, so there's no way.
So, what happens if Akali TP's behind you?
We can just run around in their jungle, because Gragas will still be top lane. And Lulu is so. Okay,
let's say she starts channeling TP right here. What do you do?
I would say run up.
Right, you can walk away.
Tower. Yeah.
That's how we. Not through tower, right? Not through tower, because then.
No, yeah, not through tower.
And that doesn't make sense, because then it's like, oh wait, how do we? Maybe you run through river or something. Maybe that could work, but you could also just walk this way, I think.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
You can run straight away. So the instant you say, okay, Kali's gonna TP, I'm gonna run straight away, right? You have to be paranoid. I'm not kidding when I say you have to be paranoid about everything, because how do I know TP's coming? Because I died to it like a million times, right? You've died to it a million times. How do we know jungle gank is coming? We've all died to jungle gank, okay? So you have to know that it's coming, or it's a possibility, right? So he TPs right now. What do? Ah, shit, we're too far out. Right, or now you have Nocturne ulti, so if he TPs, he loses, right? Or you say I have Malzahar TP, right? You have to have something though. You can't just like not be thinking, if that makes any sense. You always need to come up with a counter, right? So we hit tower because there's no way for them to stop us, right? They die.
Oh yeah, I walked up that far because I saw Nocturne coming, and I thought maybe we could get vision of Tristana and he could ult.
Ah, okay. So you could find the kill, right? You could just ulti in. That makes sense. So that's a good idea, I think. But you know, I think,
in general, it's not that good.
Right. I think our problem is kind of not having our priorities straight, and we're dying because of that. Like, how much CS should we have at this point?
A lot more, like 100.
Right, 100. So we're down 25, and if we're not making, oh my god, do you see this? He has 65, right? So imagine if you had 100 on his 65. Okay, who's winning?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're winning. You're winning. So that's all you have to do in this rank. Is you don't need any kind of poke or anything like that. You want to be self-sufficient with every jungler. You get perfect farm. Okay, that's what you need to do.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, coming top is very good, right? I would say that since you're playing Ashe and you have a Malzahar, you got some really good ulti potential. So coming top is really good. You can gank with your top lane for the sacrifice of minions, right? So if the enemy minions die to your tower, are you losing money or are you gaining money?
Wait.
Like you get this
If our
kill
minions,
and your minions die. Your minions are dying bot right now, right? The money you're supposed to get, you went top.
yeah, I mean, in the end, I would lose some money, but we get a kill and the turret in return, so I think it's worth it.
Yeah, you're not losing money, right? That's the idea, is that
Yeah.
we're not losing any money. And they're the ones losing money because their solo laner, which needs money, is dead, right? And you got a tower. So that's the idea, is how do I make money? That's all you care about. I'm telling you, this is literally all you need to worry about is how do I scale? You don't need to worry about anything else. Anything like we're going to go mid to help our team defend. That's a mistake, okay? Anything like that.
I think way too much about how do I win and not just like how do I scale or some shit.
Right, you win by scaling and not missing arrow on Ashe specifically, right? But on every single AD carry, literally it does not matter what AD carry, you always want to scale, right? You always want money. That's like the definition of the role, right? Same thing with mid lane. You always want money. These are all champions that scale into the game. So even if you don't scale, you still want money because you don't get money, you're definitely going to lose late game. Okay, what's going on mid? I think you're going to go check it out. Okay, you guys are winning this, I think, if you get here in time. Okay, very nice. How do you know that they insta-lose?
Wait, who? The enemy?
How do you know that the enemy team insta-loses here, based on what we talked about today?
It's a 2v3 for them.
Right, or you can say it's even 3v4, right? Because you can say they have Gragas. Yeah. You can say they have Gragas, but numbers always wins. I promise you, in solo queue, I don't even care what happens here. You're always gonna win. Unless it's Yasuo 5-man knockup, whatever, you're always gonna win. We don't even have to watch. You fast forward, they die. Okay, that's how we know, right? Unlucky that your Nocturne dies, but whatever, not your fault. And then I think we hit tower. I think this is dicey. Why do I say this is dicey?
I mean, he could ult me in the turret. Basically, it could happen. So if Akali TB's behind you, what do you do? Yeah,
I'm dead. Yeah, I'm not sure, right? You have to run up or something.
I could walk up in this scenario.
Right, but that's the thing you have to ask yourself is what happens if they do this, right? If we have no plan, you're going to lose, right? Guaranteed. Okay, so you're going for this Tristana. This doesn't work, right? Because she just jumps away. So, excuse me, what's she doing? Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. So that's how we know. That's how we the kind of things we want to do are, we know the outcome, right? It's like, how do we know we kill her? We don't. Right, so we can't use our ulti like that. Because what happens if you use your ulti like that?
I mean, I basically just wasted my ult and she was just gonna jump.
Right, so if they start a dragon fight, you guys are at a disadvantage, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of one thing we want to look at too is ulti usage on Ashe, right? Remember the example of you AFK for 23 minutes, you have perfect farm, you land one ulti, you're winning the game, right?
Yeah.
All you care about is consistent, good ultis. Right, that's all you care about. And if you can't find it, what do you do?
Just scale more.
Yeah, don't use it. Don't use it, right? Because look at this example.
Okay. Yeah.
Where's the example where we did use it and it was like really good? Okay, no, it's like back. Here we go.
Oh yeah, right. The Akali one.
Imagine if you got an assist every ulti. That would be, you'd be double it, right? You'd be S tier Ashe. That would be like really good Ashe, okay? If you can get a killer assist and every ulti, that's all you need. That's all you want. Anytime you use it and you miss or it just doesn't make sense, then we say that we're playing a useless champ because we can't do anything with this champ, right? This is the only reason why we pick Ashe is for the ulti, right? So it's kind of, we need to make sure that we're kind of saving it if we're not sure, right? And then where do we go? Where do we go after we base? How do we make money? Where do we go?
Top lane probably or mid lane.
But we can't go top because
of Akali.
Right. And let's say mid lane does not want to go anywhere but mid. Where do you go?
jungle? Like I could take 1 or 2 jungle camps. And
You can't
them.
jungle either because your jungler wants jungle camps.
Yeah.
And it's not
obviously.
worth as much money as the lane. So what's the only lane we can go to if top wants top, mid wants mid?
Can we go bot lane? Like it's pushed so far out. So
You go bot when it comes back, right? But that's the idea.
yeah.
Is that you want to go? Everyone wants their own lane, right? So anything like sharing a lane, we don't want to do. I think we're gonna go for a play here. How do we know this works?
Because I mean it's a 4v4 in theory.
Right. So we don't know it works, right? We don't have a reason.
Yeah.
Right. Like here's another reason that we didn't mention today is chasing. Right. If one team is chasing, they're at a disadvantage because the other team can throw skill shots or whatever. They can choose when to turn around. Right. So chasing, getting one shot, right? Any kind of face check, positional advantage. Those are all kind of minor advantages. So if it's not a man advantage, we're looking at some kind of minor advantage, right? We don't have any advantage here, right? There's no way this really works unless someone gets one shot. So I think they're actually missing a person. Yasuo can't help this, right? But we don't want to look for this, right? If that makes any sense. What happens if you guys just start fighting each other? You're not sure, right? It doesn't make sense. You need to have a reason to fight. So let's say all this didn't happen. What do you do instead? How do you make a small advantage? How do you make an advantage for fighting if you can't find one like 4v5? Because you can't just like run at them, right? It doesn't make sense.
I mean, we could try to poke, or like we could. It's hard to say. I mean, we could try to bait them with Drake, but then we're actually at a disadvantage.
How do you do that? Well, how do you bait them with a dragon?
We could, like the simplest is to just move in the pit or just clear vision.
Okay, right. So you need to clear wards. Yes, exactly. They have no idea, right? So if they face check, that would say we have a manner advantage. We can do something, right? You can one shot someone, or you can even they're running away. You have some kind of positional advantage, and you can ulti Tristana who's in the back or something like that, right? But we can't kind of initiate something that doesn't make sense. I think that's the problem, right? And if your team can't find anything, what do you do?
We just go back to in this scenario, like
your number one priority. What's your number one priority?
Yeah, to just farm. And,
yes. You only care about making money. If your team can't find anything, you don't give a shit. You're gonna go make money, right? Okay. That's all you care about. Literally, all you care about, right, is making money. So I think the reason why we're still in this game is because our team is carrying super hard, right? Oh my god, he just died. Okay, as I say that, everyone gets solo killed. Oh no. That's super interesting. Maybe you guys can turn this. It's gonna be really close. Oh no, you don't have ulti, do you? Oh my god, Callie doesn't do anything. She just sat there and took it up the butt. Okay, interesting. It was good of you to help this. Very nice. And then sure, you can hit tower. How do you know that arrow's good? If she has a QSS, it's not, right? So that's how you know. You save it. You save it. Okay. Until you know without a doubt in your mind. Okay, so I think we're looking at several things we can work on, but the two biggest ones is kind of you need to focus on CS over anything else. You don't really care about trying to help anything unless you know it's guaranteed for whatever reason. Okay. And if you can't find anything, you go farm, right? That's your job, is that you need to go make money, right? And then in terms of early game stuff, you just need to not die to gank, I think, and then we'll be okay, right? You're actually over CS on Tristana, so all you have to do is not make sure we die to a gank, right? You literally don't need to do anything else, right? And then for your arrows, you have some really good arrows. So like those. Okay, this one's a maybe, but we've seen you have some really good arrows, right? I think this is a really good idea. Okay, it's just unlucky Malzahar CC'd on top of that, but you have some really good spots. But sometimes we use it when it's like it doesn't make sense. You know what I'm saying? All this fighting stuff, all these mechanics, no problem, right? Does it look like we have a mechanics problem? Have we made a single mechanical error in these two games? I
don't know, not really.
We have not made not a single mechanical error. unless you want to count using Ashe LT on something weird, then that counts.
Yeah.
But you have not made a single mechanical error. So it's just you always put yourself in a position where you like cannot win. You know what I'm saying? It's literally impossible for you to win.
That's actually so sad.
Yeah. But it's true in a way, right? It's just like,
I mean, it's true.
I'm just like, if I were you, there's no way you can win this, right? There's no way I can win this if I were you. You need the reason, the secret why the higher ranked players, you know, climb so fast is because they always put themselves in a spot where they cannot lose, no matter what they do, right? That's the idea. Like, oh, what's going on here? Oh, he missed a tornado. Okay, you don't want to fight this though. How do we know you don't? How do we know you don't want to fight this?
Yeah, I mean it's. Wait, where's? Oh yeah.
How do you know? How do you know?
3, 4.
Yes. First reason is number of people. Okay, because you try and fight like you're running to this fight like you're gonna fight. You don't want to fight ever. Because your Malzahar's in base. Like if we die because we walk up, that's how, right? You try and make this happen, you guys are all gonna die. Okay, I promise. Until Malzahar has TP, so maybe he counts as a person, right? But he suicides too. I don't know what's going on.
I think we actually win this.
Right, but we didn't orchestrate it. Is the problem, right? What if we had ulti here? Oh, even better, right? We kind of like try and ulti like for 3v5 or something, right? It doesn't make sense. So
I mean. Mats was already TPing, but this.
Okay, so here's the example. You ulti, okay, hit. She QSS's. They walk away to their base. How does Malzahar catch up?
Yeah, there's no way.
Guaranteed. That's what we're looking for. Guaranteed. Okay, guaranteed, guaranteed, guaranteed. Maybe if they're really close and then they can't run away from Fiddle, that would be guaranteed. Or you hit someone who doesn't have QSS and immediately Cassiopeia W's them. That's guaranteed, right? But if you don't have a guarantee, you would prefer to hold on to your stuff, okay? You always need to hold on to your abilities and stuff, right? If it's not guaranteed. You don't want to start fights unless it's guaranteed, right? I think what would be helpful for you is to look at replays of what other people do and see if we can match it up to what we said today, right? I think that'll make the most sense, right? If you can see it, I always thought that like, learning with an example makes sense. Yeah. Okay, let's watch Reckless. Here we go. But yeah, I think this game is actually. Let's watch a little more. Maybe we can find something like all this grouping stuff. A+, okay. Team fighting A+. Except maybe look at your arrows. It's the other stuff that's kind of. You try and fight, doesn't make sense. You lose the trade. You fight, they have more people, you die, right? It doesn't make sense. So those are your biggest problems, I think, that you want to take a look at.
Yeah. Pretty sure.
Like here, how do you know you can hit this tower and get away?
I don't, so I should.
Right. So what's the thing is you have to have a plan, right? You don't have a plan, insta loss. Okay, that's what I want you to think. Like let's say for example, Gragas E flash barrel, you get Yasuo ulted. If you're not ready with your flash, you can't hit this tower. That's the problem. It's not that hitting the tower is incorrect. It's that if you don't know what they're gonna do and you hit the tower anyways, that's incorrect, right?
Oh yeah. So if I would know that I could get away and would be prepared to flash there and get out,
then this is correct, right? Like this, right? That's we know you can't die here because you have flash, right? So I would hit the tower, but if you're not aware that you need to use your flash for this specific engage, right? Could be a Sejuani, flash ulti, whatever, it doesn't matter. Then you can't hit the tower, okay? Even Camille is a big offender, right? She's gonna ulti you can't get away, right? That's a big offender. Anything like that, then we're making a mistake, right? That's the problem is that I think you just are not aware that they're gonna do it, or you're not prepared. Maybe you are aware, but you're like. I don't know, but we need to make sure, right? How do we know the ulti is good?
Is it like I mean it zones her away basically?
Right. You asked, is it right? So I don't know. We need to know for sure. When our ulti usage is good.
No, right? No, it wasn't
like,
good.
If you like, what if you ulti Yasuo here, right? For example, right? Basically, our ulti didn't do anything. And if you're thinking something along the lines of I ulti her, Nocturne's gonna ult in, whatever, let them go first. Okay, always let them go first.
I mean, it looks like I wanted to ult Yasuo, but even then, it's pretty uncertain. So I think it just shouldn't have.
Not sure exactly. Whenever you're not 1,000% sure, you gotta save it. Okay.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we're not doing anything with an ulti, right? Like you played almost the whole game without having good usage, without having like an ultimate, right? Okay, and then what happens here? That
I just overextend.
Actually, you know, if you say inhibitor is worth, then I think this is fine. But you're just gonna die. So they just have more people, right? They're just gonna run you down.
Yeah.
Let's see what's going on here. How do we know that this is same thing? How do we know that it's good?
Just
or not good.
QSS, so I shouldn't have.
Right, or wind wall because they can see you, right? Anything like that.
Yeah.
And we know it doesn't work, right? So we'd rather save it for like Lulu or Yasuo who goes in, or even Akali, right? Anything like that.
Yeah.
Maybe even Gragas, but it's kind of. We know you can do it. You just need to be more patient with it. I think that's the problem. Is that you go at the first opportunity, but you need to make sure it's good. It's actually good, right? Otherwise, it's like it doesn't make sense. Oh, okay. And then you guys are fighting. Oh, free kill. Okay, you guys can win this. Oh wow, Akali's going in. She one-shotting people, so now it's less certain. Oh no. Right. So if we had ulti at any of these points, then it's like. It would have helped us a lot, right? So honestly, we can talk about positioning and stuff. I think if you had your ulti though, it would be a lot different, right? That might be one thing you want to look at, right? But what should our CS be at this timestamp?
Over 200.
What number would be ideal?
250 or 270 or something.
280, right? We want 280.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Unless there have been some insane shit going on in this game, you want 280 farm, okay? It's not impossible. You can do it every game. Like let's take a look at Reckless's OPGG, okay?
Yeah, yes.
It would be, let's see, 11.5, right? 9.9, 9.6. Doesn't matter. He has 4 deaths. We're still going for the farm, okay? He's got more than 10, okay? Isn't that like crazy? Right? You want it every single game.
So insane.
Even when he loses, okay? He's got 10, right? This is what you want to see. And then maybe some crazy shit happens. There's a fight every second. You have less than 10 per minute.
That's also the only reason, the only instant where he has like over 5 deaths.
Right. Exactly. So yeah, the first step is definitely making sure the early game stuff is okay. Like not dying to ganks, I think would be the big one. If they're missing on the map, you have to know they're coming. Okay. And then the second one is in the mid game. You don't fight. When do you fight?
Late game.
No. When do you fight?
Oh, you mean like 45 or some shit?
Yes.
Like
when you have a major advantage. Yeah. When you know there's no way you lose, you fight, okay? That's the only time you want to fight. What general goes into battle just like flipping a coin, right? It doesn't make sense. You only want to fight when you know you win, right? Like let's say, for example, you're playing blackjack, and you can play blackjack, you know, with real money, right? So let's say you're playing with real money, and you have 2 options. One is you know when you're gonna win. Right, and the other is you're just playing. You have no idea which do you choose, right?
Yeah,
it's like the one you know you're gonna win, right? But how do we train that? That's the problem. Is making sure we can identify these kind of patterns, right? Like a lot of times when I'm like, oh, you guys are dead, right? It's because I've seen it happen a million times. Connect the dots. Oh, they have more people. They're just gonna win, right? That's the idea. So the biggest pattern is there are more people. Okay, that's the biggest pattern. The second biggest pattern you need to know is someone gets one shot. Okay, that's all you need to know for now, right? Those 2 things. Other things include like chasing and stuff like that. But honestly, these 2 are the 80% of fights are gonna go like that, right? And then it looks like, you know, honestly, it looks like your team fighting is fine. So we don't really have to take. Look at this. We don't really have to take a look at this at all, right? I think this is all fine, right? This looks really good. It's just when there's no way for you to win is like when we have an issue, right? So let's see if we can see a replay. Actually, let's do a point of view stream. Actually, no, that's probably not same as solo queue. Reckless. Replay. Let's just see what we got. We don't. A month is relevant, but let's see if we can see an Ashe game. Ashe. And filter by this week. And 3 days ago. So this is relevant, right? We would say. So in this lane, what is Caitlyn Morgana in our categories?
Poke or all in.
Like
I would say with Morgana bind, they can all in.
Okay, so what is skill shot CC based? What is skill shot based CC in our category?
Catch.
Yes, so they're
Oh
catch.
yeah,
right?
that's not all in. That's catch.
Right. Because if you miss, it's not the reason why it's not all in is because it can miss. Right.
Yeah.
And then how about Zyra Ashe?
Definitely poke.
Agreed.
And also catch.
Right, Zyra snare, skill shot CC. So, in this lane, you're gonna want these guys to go first, right? That's the idea. Okay, so anytime you guys continue a fight after someone gets binded, probably a mistake, right? Or you only want to do something on poke / snare, right? So let's fast forward a bit. Let's see what's going on here. Yada yada yada. Looks pretty normal, I guess. But notice how he isn't trying to walk up and hit them, right? Because it doesn't make sense. Right? It's not along their line, their categories. It's not what they're supposed to do, right? It's just poke, right? He'll only hit them if they're going for CS or something like that, or it's free, right? Notice how he's just hitting minions, right? That's what you want to do, because what happens when you trade and a jungler comes out, right? You die to a gank, right? So that's why you don't want to trade when you're pushing, unless you're diving. Because your jungler is here, but I digress. I think we just want to focus on this idea of super. Look at this. How far away is he? Even though they're quote unquote winning.
Oh yeah.
Can he be bounded? Can he be bounded here?
No, there's no way.
How does he know he can't hit tower? Or why isn't he just hitting the tower here?
I mean, yeah, Morgana bind is the most obvious one,
right, Morgana bind. Right, anything like that is danger, right? So even though he's quote unquote winning, he's not gonna walk up and hit the tower. It doesn't make sense, right? You can try and do that, but the one day you get punished, or the many days you get punished, is when you're like, oh, you threw the lane because you wanted to hit the tower like 2 times, so it's not worth, right? So I think Reckless is very good is really good for watching, because he's very safe and very clean, if that makes any sense, right?
Yeah.
So even now, he'll try and hit the tower sometimes, but it's not just like full on. He's always trying to run away first, right? No matter what, he's gonna make sure he doesn't get hit by bind, right? So reason why he can hit the tower is because he knows he's gonna leave after some minions die, right? But most players would hit it until all the minions die, and then they get bound, right? So that's the problem, is you need to know when to back off after the tower. But my suggestion is you don't even have to hit it, okay? You only want to hit it when they're all dead. I promise that works at your rank. It works at my rank. It'll work for a very long time. Okay, let's see what happened here. He got hit. And then got some damage off. That's unfortunate. Whatever. But the big idea is that they're all making money. Look, he's pushed in. He has still good CS. Caitlyn got pushed in. She still has good CS, right? So that's the number one thing you need to look at, is your CS comes first. Okay. As long as you make sure you don't die to a gank, right? Then your CS comes first, right? So let's fast forward a bit. Oh, okay, what's going on here? They're trying to do some 4-man play, right? Oh, baby. Oh, my, nice Zyra root. I think you got something going here then. Oh, my God. Was it worth?
Yes, 2v1. 2 for 1. And
but you used 4 people to do it, right?
Yeah, they used 4 people, like 4v2.
So I would say almost not worth, or probably not worth, right? Because when you wanted this 4v2, it had to be free, right? Or maybe you could say something like, your carries got the kill and their support got the kill, so maybe it's worth, but it's probably not too good, right?
Oh, okay.
Okay, how about this? This is pretty worth, right? This makes it pretty worth. If that Kha'Zix had spent his time, say, invading or ganking Cho'Gath or something, then you got a problem. But it actually turned out to be good.
Yeah, they already got turret.
Right. Ideally speaking, you don't want to. If you're diving, you don't want to die. And if you're the one getting dove, you just want 1 kill and you're happy, right? Oh my God, that plant tanked. Nice. And then how do you know you can just run forward like this?
It's 3v2.
All right, you're more people. Your Galio is gonna be here faster than Echo, so
yeah.
You're more people. So they just all die. Very nice. And then push, and he can just do this because he has vision, right? His Zyra is telling him, oh, no one's coming. So and then his TP City, right? So there might be a punish here, but turns out it's a 5v5, right? So let's see what happens here. How come Reckless's team won this? How do we know? How do we know they won? Let's talk about that. How do we know they won before it happens? Right here.
So they TP in way faster than the enemies.
No, it's just standard 5v5 because the TPs are the fight is slow enough that the TPs are not gonna the timer of the TP is not gonna matter, right? TP timer matters when, let's say, Malphite out goes off and then kills everyone and the enemy top laner TPs in. Then it's like your whole team's already dead. So 4 seconds is too long. But in this case, early game, TP is not gonna matter that much.
Oh,
it's 5v5. How do you know 5v5 is win? What's the kind of minor advantage they have, or an advantage they have?
So like 2 things I could think of are like item advantages and that they are basically chasing.
Chasing, yes. The item advantages you could say, but you know, between Ashe and Caitlyn, is it really that big? It's literally
No, not really.
finished boots. That's it. And then mid lane, where's the mid lane? I can't really see. Mid lane, it's like he doesn't even have a full item, right? So not really. The big one is that they're chasing.
Yeah.
Right. So chasing is lose as well, right? In a 5v5. So if you watch this pan out, they're gonna lose 100%, right? You cannot win when you're chasing 5v5, right? Unless you have some kind of one shot or something, right? Oh my God, is he gonna get away? Oh, Ruler got him. That was hot. But overall, they lost, right? They also didn't have a Kha'Zix, so 4v5 as well. Apparently they didn't have Kha'Zix, but even if he was here, it was not good, right? And then swap top because Rift Herald is up. Even though Dragon's up, I think that you could say Rift Herald is pretty important, and there's nothing to do bot, right? So you could say going top is fine. Oh, okay. What happens here? Let's watch this. Surprise! Yeah, he lost his ulti, right? So that's kind of awkward. Actually, it might be worth losing his ulti. He just did all this dude's health, so not too bad. What's going on here? Yeah, is he trying to hit the tower?
No.
Right, never. Unless you have a very good reason.
Too risky.
Yeah, exactly. Oh baby, he's gonna almost kill this guy. Nice try, but he only really cares about pushing. And then how come he can hit tower now?
There's no way for them to get punished for it. Like
right, Sinch has the base.
Yeah,
right?
Sinch has the base.
Basically dead. But remember that
can defend this.
Right. Tower, you don't need to hit tower. I promise. All you need to do is push. Okay, but notice the CS at the time. Right, that's what our goal.
Yeah.
How many arrows has he done?
1.
Yeah, like 1 or 2. Like not very little, right? Only has gone for very good ultis. Okay, that's what we want to see. And he's gonna push this out. Wow, he's even hitting this tower because they're like open mid or something. Let's see what's going on here. I think he's trying to save Zara. Something like that. And then back to pushing. And then what's going on here? Team is trying to do something. Oh, kite this guy and you win. Yeah, I think they're just trolling. So probably not the best one to watch, but it's kind of the basic idea. This is actually too stompy, I think, to get too much out of. But the basic idea is in the mid game, you're just trying to make money, right? So you push. You don't really care about hitting the tower. You just want to push, right?
Okay.
And if you can't push, you want to clear, right? You let them push first, and you kill all the minions after. But only after he kills all the minions will he go help. Notice how this shit is there's something going on in the jungle. He only goes after he kills all the minions, right? You need to make sure minions are your priority. Otherwise, we're doing something wrong here, right? And don't hit the tower, right? Don't hit the tower, right? You can't. The tower has 0 HP. He's not trying to hit it, right? And fast forward, I think they just go bot here, right? Remember, you can rotate after you push, right? So after you push, he's like, oh, maybe we can do something. Sure. And then base, because there's nothing else to do. Run mid. Always pushing, though, before he does anything. That's the idea we want to kind of look at for the mid game, right? You don't want to fight, right? When has he started a fight?
Only in scenarios where they clearly had an advantage.
Right, they had more people, or
more people, or they got chased.
Yes, there are more people, or they got chased. Right, you know you're gonna win. There's no fighting anytime else. Right, the dive was 4v2. Right, the gank was 3v2. Right, the enemy is chasing in a 5v5. Right, so in all situations, he knew he was gonna win for whatever reason. Like as long as you can come up with a reason, it doesn't matter. But he knew he was gonna win. And he didn't use his ulti unless he knew it was good, right? Actually, that was probably not the best ulti, but maybe he thought he could find something. I don't know. But that's the idea. Look, that's all you need to do is just have this amount of money and not die, right? It's really what's going on here. And then something happens. Oh, this is kind of awkward. Cho'Gath finishes the tower. Oh my god. that's so sad for Singed, right? Oh, yeah, could be in trouble. He has no flash. Oh, okay. You gotta run. Sure, they're just all leaving. Yeah, this game is pretty weird, but
Yeah, that's pretty troll. They're just so ahead.
yeah, they can do whatever they want. Let's see if we can find a different one. Let's see a Tristana one. Do you only play Ashe, by the way, or is it just something you're playing for now?
I played like 100 games of Tristana this season and like 80 games of Caitlyn. Some shit. So
It's
I
all the
play
same.
like
Any champion.
Caitlyn, Tristana, Ashe. Yeah, that's it basically.
Let's fast forward. This is what we're talking about in terms of when you get back to lane, you just want to last hit, right? So you can build a huge wave. That's what everyone does, right? Is the general idea. Because if you push, the lane will be meeting over here, which is what happened in your game. But you don't even care about that, right? We don't even need to worry about that. We just need to make sure that we're okay from ganks, and we're not trying to start any kind of fight that doesn't make sense, right? And then, oh, failed gank. That's not good. That's unfortunate, but nice try. And then once you push, hitting the tower is not recommended, okay? I'm going to tell you. Not recommended no matter what you're playing. Have you hit the tower as Caitlyn and died to a gank before? Because I have, right?
Yeah, obviously.
It does not matter. It does not matter what you're playing. You need to have a very good reason to hit the tower. And probably the best reason is because they're dead. Okay? He'll do anything but hit the tower. Okay? He'll even ward all this shit before he goes to hit the tower. Okay? And even then, he won't hit the tower. You only care about pushing. Because that's how you make money. Okay? This is another alternative instead of hitting the towers. You hide in a bush. Right? So you can find a face check advantage, right? Didn't we say vision was one of the advantages, right? So this is one right here. So that's another option you can take. Remember how we're like, how do we make an advantage? You said pink ward the baron, pink ward the dragon, right? That would be a good example of how you can create an advantage, right? And then you can say, oh, what if Janna doesn't walk up? Then you've lost nothing, right? So makes sense, right? We didn't really lose anything for looking for it. And then he's going to base after pushing in. Sure, you know that. Oh, he's going to do some kind of camp here too. he's really looking for it. But see, even though he can't find it, we didn't lose anything, right?
Yeah.
Is the idea.
Didn't lose any CS.
Exactly. He literally does not care as long as he's getting his money. Look, he's got 80. He's got 78 at 9 minutes, right? That's pretty good, right? Let's fast forward a bit. And then notice how, it's really hard for him to get these backline minions because, where's their mid laner?
The mid lane is missing.
Yeah, no clue.
Yeah,
no clue. So the mid laner is coming. So you have to give up the CS. That's why staying safe is #1 priority and not #2. Because if you die for those CS, it's not good.
He actually moved back under turret.
Right. Because there's no way. And then he sees Cassiopeia. Now it's just Eve, right? So 2v3 is okay,
and he goes
right?
back.
Like we discussed, having flash and full HP means you're okay from gank sometimes, right? And we say sometimes because you're not okay from gank if you're playing against like Thresh, Kalista at least, right? Even if you have flash, you're gonna die. Or you're playing Jinx, they have a Trundle. If you have flash, you're probably still gonna die, right? Trundle Thresh is pretty bad. So in this case, they should be okay. Just ultis Eve, right? That's your plan. And then as long as your plan works, you're okay. But what happened here? Why did the plan not work?
Like a supporter overextended, basically. I mean,
No. How did they get out from this position? What's the mistake?
Oh, wait. Did Lulu not flash?
Lulu did not flash, so she fucked up, right? So they were fine, and then she died because she didn't flash, right? So this would have been good. It would have been good outcome if Lulu flashed and everyone's happy. He just screwed up, so that's unfortunate. But as long as it's not your fault, you don't care. You're happy, right? All we care about is making sure we're not screwing up, right? So what you did, if this was you, we'd say this is correct, right? And then, we got Prom now. He's still, no way. He's actually getting out. He's definitely going to die. Oh my God. What the hell? So how come he knows he can defend this? Or how does he know that it's not just 1v3 on the tower?
Because he sees Sejuani already
Right.
moving.
So what's the plan here?
To just like wait until she comes and.
No. What's the mechanical plan? Right. So.
Oh, so he just wants to stay alive and bait them into diving him. So.
Okay, so if you get hit by this ability, you die. What is this ability?
Like Eve Charm.
Yes, Eve Charm. Right. So you have to target these specific abilities so you know how to escape a gank. Right. So when he says, you know, Eve is gonna throw her Q, I'm gonna flash. Right. And then when she goes for the auto attack to proc it, he's gonna jump. So we say this is guaranteed because they can't stop that. Right. What do they need to do to stop that? They need some kind of Janna tornado. Right. Like flash Janna tornado or something. So they didn't stop it. So that's how this. You play this 100 times, he's gonna get out 100 times. Right. Does that make sense? Is that it's guaranteed? That's what we're looking for. So it gets away because Sejuani's here. And then, you know, stays, you know, lost tower, whatever. Not his fault. But look at the CS. Despite all that, right? We see kind of a pattern, right? Is that no matter what happens, you need to make sure you don't die so you can get this money. Okay, what's going on here? Okay, they're trying to do some kind of 2v1. Oh, he flashes away so you can't chase. Sure. And then push. And then he doesn't hit tower, right?
Oh yeah. Okay.
And then he hits tower when he thinks it's all safe or something like that. Base, go top, sure. He's gonna remember. I think one of the biggest takeaways is don't hit the tower, right? That's the first band-aid fix we can do. And the second band-aid fix is pretend like they're always ganking you. Okay, those are the two things. I think your team fighting is great. Mechanics look fine. It's just these two things are giving up like so many kills that you can't even play the game. You know what I'm saying? You're like unable to play the game because of these two things. So if you want alternatives, you say you wait in a bush. You can hide under your tower. You can ward after you push. But under no circumstances do you hit the tower, right?
Okay.
And then you don't fight unless you have very good reason, right? Okay, they have 2v1, right? One shot him. They have two reasons. Yeah, they have two reasons here. So that's how he knows he wins. He has never taken a fight where he can't win. You know what I'm saying? If that occurs, he leaves. He leaves the situation, right? Like there were 4 people missing. He just went back to his tower. Sure, he lost 3 minions, but he made sure he wasn't gonna die no matter what, right? So here they push top instead of hitting tower. They go mid, right? Anything that does not involve hitting tower is better. That's what I want you to think for now. His like plan is we're just gonna jump out, I guess. Sure. I don't know what's going on, but some random shit's going on. But he's gonna push this out, right? He's gonna hit tower because he sees where they are, so that counts, I guess. But even then, I would recommend not doing it, right? I think that's not something you need to work on. You just need to make sure we don't hit the tower. That's the first step. And then, okay, here's an example where he has to let them push in because his team's in base, right? Like, let's say, for example, you can't push because of that Leona thing, right? You let them push into you. Right, like what you're seeing here.
Yeah.
So then he can clear under tower.
And I mean, Eve could be around, so...
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So, not safe, right? Maybe the plan is, you know, you're going to jump when Eve charms you or something. I don't know. Okay, what's going on here? Oh, this looks kind of dicey. Oh, he thinks he can do it. Oh, okay. He found a play. So, this is what we call an exception to the rule, right? Where
This guy's
how many
just good.
Yeah, how many people do they have?
You mean like the enemies or?
Right, when we're talking about counting people. Remember our man advantage idea?
Yeah, like Cinch's top, Cassio's butt, so there could be 3.
Right. So this is 3v2, right? So how come he doesn't lose?
Because he knows he can catch her in this scenario, but I mean, I wouldn't know, so I shouldn't go for the shit like this.
Yeah, exactly. Is that you have to come up with a specific way to win a man disadvantage.
So he has like a plan and knows it will work out, so he can do it, but I shouldn't.
This plan is impossible to stop. No, it's okay if you can come up with a plan and it's in theory impossible to lose. Then you can do it.
Yeah.
Right. But if you can't come up with it, you can't do that. Right. So the idea here is he's gonna get this no matter what they do. You can't Eve charm this in time, right? For example, and if Janet ultis, she's still dying, right? So he knows that this is unbeatable, so that's why he can go for it, right? But most of the time, you're not gonna want 2v3, right? And then here comes the 2v2. Does not look like you win 2v2, so he's just gonna win. He's just gonna hit the closest guy, doesn't matter, right? You know how to team fight, so that's fine. And then all this happens, doesn't matter. He goes to hope of fight.
Stuff like this looks like so risky, where he just chased into
Right
two
here?
people. No, before that, where he chased Evelyn. Yeah, right there.
Right here? Well, you know, how does Eve kill someone?
Well, she needs her charm, yeah.
Right, she needs to do damage, and then she has to ulti, right? So she used everything on Lulu, right? So no charm, no ulti, you can't do anything. That's how you know you can win. Oh, whoops. Accidentally did something, but you kind of get the idea, right?
Yeah.
Is that no matter what, don't hit tower. Yeah, you don't know what to do. You push out your wave. Okay, that's all you care about. And then let's see what happens here. Fast forward a bit. This is what I mean. This is what we mean by pushing out the wave, right? You know what we mean by you push past the river, right? And just make sure this gets past the river, and then it's coming back to you.
Oh, yeah.
So, what's the money at the timer?
Holy shit.
Yeah, that's what we want. That's all you care about. You don't need kills to be strong. Okay, you just need to make sure we're not giving up kills and make sure we're farming, right? Because that's the easiest, most consistent way to carry games. Is that he doesn't even have to do anything. He just has to hit the closest guy, and they're gonna win, right? Ezreal is trying to do the same thing, right? He has 200 CS at 21. That's pretty good too. Okay, this fight is breaking out. They did Baron. How do you know they're gonna win this? What kind of advantage do you think they have?
I mean, it's a 5v5, but
Right.
But the enemies are basically already behind because of Baron that they just made.
What kind of advantage is this, do you think? It's not chasing, right? And it's not
No,
vision
it's not
or anything related.
I mean, the red team just killed Baron, so they already used a bunch of stuff, like Janna ult for example. That would be the only reason I
Well,
could
she
come up
only
with.
used ulti because they were coming. They didn't use the ulti for Baron, right?
Oh yeah, okay, I see.
They still have all their ultis and everything. It's not like they use summoners. So the big reason, or one of the biggest reasons, is positional advantage, right? So this is something you can kind of think about, but this is honestly never gonna happen at your rank for now. It's just more people win. Okay, that's all you need to know. But they can't leave without getting hit. So we'll say that's some kind of
basically stuck in the pit.
Yeah, exactly. Stuck in the pit. Yeah. Dragon pit, Baron pit, it's all the same, right? They're stuck, they can't get out, so they're all gonna die, right? And then since you one-shot someone, well, the rest of the fight is 4v5, right? So they just hit the closest guy and they win, right? So fast forward. Basically, he's never taken a bad fight. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
And anytime his team has taken a bad fight, he just leaves, right? You can't fight if it's impossible to win, right? So he doesn't say it's like, oh, nothing's going on. What do? You push. You push. Okay. Don't know what to do. You push. And then oh, it looks like they have to defend. So he bases, sure. But this is some late game stuff we're kind of getting into. But basically, all you have to do is push out your lanes, and you'll figure out what to do. Okay. That's their kind of two big ideas are make sure you don't die pre 15 minutes. Or pre 20 minutes. Okay, that's what we're looking at right now. Is no matter what, don't die. So this is your goal when you go into your games. This is how you improve. Okay, is first, no deaths, unless they're diving you and you kill someone. That would be an exception to this rule. But you're not gonna die, right? You're trying to help a fight you don't think is winnable. You don't do it. You back ping. Okay, you don't help any of these fights. Remember how Kha'Zix got one shot, right? You don't help that. That's gone. I literally would have left. Because there's nothing you can do. Look at what you tried to help. There's nothing you could have done. Right? You leave the scenario. Okay. Second thing is, if you want to do something proactive, it's because you have a reason. Right? You want to fight. You have more people. You have some kind of matchup advantage, or they're chasing, or you have more vision. That's the only time you fight. And then what do you do if none of that stuff happens?
You don't fight.
Yeah, but what do you do?
Yeah, you just go for gold and scale.
Yeah. Push out your waves.
waves. Yeah.
That's it. And then remember, the first step is not to die. So if you push out a wave and you die, you take a look at that and you say, oh, you should have expected them to do this, right? And then if you can do all that, then definitely Diamond 3, okay? Already. So we have a lot of things to work on. But I think that is for you, as long as you can do it one step at a time, is really easy to build upon, right? Like the first step is don't die in lane. And the second step is get all the CS. And then the third step is make sure we're not hitting tower, right? I think in that order, you are good to go. And everything else would be very good. After that, it's like stop using ulti for poor reasons. But honestly, since you don't really play Ashe, right? It was just the 2 times in the match history. Then that's something less to worry about.
I played it on a Smurf to get into her, so
Okay.
to basically learn her. I played
Right,
like.
but it's not something that you might consider like maining or something like that, right?
I don't know yet because like I played a lot of Caitlyn, but she's basically permabanned, so I'm basically just looking for something else to play.
Makes sense. Let's take a quiz here. How do you know you win this fight?
Yeah, it's 1v2.
2v1. Exactly.
Yeah,
that's all you need to know.
2v1, obviously.
It's 2v1. That's all you need to know. Your more people is win, okay? For now, your more people is win. Okay, how do you know you win this?
I mean, he's everything up, so he can.
Big reasons. We don't care about abilities or summoners right now. Just big reasons why you know this is win.
I mean, Cassio's top, so there's could only be 3 members there, and the whole team is there to back it up.
Right. So you're more people, right? More people is win.
5v3 and
exactly. It doesn't even matter what he does. He knows he's gonna win this, right? You can even say since you have Lulu, some kind of Lulu Tristana late game combo that counts as like another person, right? But you just has more people, right? That's all you need to know. How do you know you can jump in here? You know, they still have a dead Eve and a dead Janna, so it doesn't matter. And if you're not sure, you just hit the closest guy, right? So easy. And then this is just perfect game, right? He didn't do anything kind of special. Does that make sense? It's just all the same ideas we were kind of throwing around today, except sometimes he found some extra kills that we may not have, right?
Okay.
But overall, it's the same idea. Right? Does that make sense?
So in the end, he's just very good at the basics.
Yes, the fundamentals are clean, and then on top of his fundamentals, he has extra like ways to break the rules, right? Like, oh, they have more people, we still win because of this specific scenario, right? Or anything like that. That's not something we need to know.
Oh yeah, so when he breaks the rules, he has an exact plan to how to play it out.
Right, like for example, hitting the tower, he's like, oh, I'm gonna do this to get out, right? Remember when he hit mid, Cassiopeia came out, he pressed W before she did, so he got out, right? That would be a specific example. But let's say he wasn't ready for Cassiopeia and then he couldn't W, he's dead, right? So that's the idea, is that we want to stick to these rules, right? For now, like you don't have to break these rules until you're a challenger. Think about it that way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. These basic rules is gonna carry you all the way. Okay. So anytime you die, you look at Plays TV and you say, oh, it's because of this, right? And then once you keep dying to the same thing, like I think we saw, it was just ganks over and over again. Then we take a look and say, okay, the first step is we watch for ganks every single game until you never die to a gank. 5 games in a row. That's your first step. And then once you do that, it's the CS. Okay. And then after that, it's make sure we never hit tower unless they're all dead or something like that. And then I think then you'll be at a much different place than you are now, skill-wise. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
All right. For mechanics, it looked like to me you only had ulti problems on Ashe, but I can't really tell because I didn't see anything else, right? But mechanics were fine. You had no problems team fighting. It was just we died so many times beforehand. You know, that's kind of our problem. Like we should definitely be having more than 5 per minute. Well, actually, this is kind of like a weird game, right? So something like this is closer to what we want, like something like this, right? But we definitely want to prioritize our money first. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Cool. Any other questions? You want to go back, review anything?
I had something on my mind before I started this, but To be honest, I forgot. So
Yo, it's okay. If you do remember, just message me on Discord and I'll be around.
Okay.
Sound good?
yeah, that sounds good.
All right, cool. Let me know how your games go, right? And remember to try and focus on these like kind of 3 things or 2 things that we talked about, so you can work on it in game, right? Remember, 5 games in a row, we don't die before 20 minutes. Okay, that's what we want to see. 5 games in a row, and then we can go from there, right? You can work on the next thing, I would say, and keep this no deaths before 20 going, right? And I
Okay.
think you'll see improvement for sure. So yeah, you have a lot of things to work on, but I think that
Yeah, true.
it's like it's good because once you work on this one thing, you'll see your gameplay improve drastically, I think, right? Because it's all geared toward this one thing. It's not like we have 30 different problems. It's only die to ganks and kind of taking bad fights, right? So that's what I think you should take a look at.
Okay, thanks.
All right, let me know how things go. Good luck in your games, and if you do remember what questions you had, feel free to hit me up on Discord. Sound good?
Yeah. Thank you.
All right, cool. Thank you. Have a good one.
Yeah, you too.